Hello, good morning, friends and my viewers. Now, as the budget is declared, and there are certain issues which I feel should be discussed. Besides discussing what will be the effect on middle class and the poor and the farmers on of this budget, I would say that we as a nation, want to predict the government, the finance minister. They want to predict a robust growth in the country, and they say that the GDP predicts that we are growing with a robust economy. Okay. Then we are also facing inflation, rise in the prices of the food products. There's decreased consumption, and you can say the prices is rising, and this inflation effect is also actually counted in the GDP. So we cannot say that this actual increase in the GDP is reflecting actual growth in the economy. It is actually reflecting the inflation also. Now, I think the finance ministry has tried a lot to curb inflation, but through an approach which is not good for the middle class, for the poor people, for the farmers. They have also, tried to tighten a little the businesses and the rich people also, but that is not so much compared to the income inequality seen in our country. It's not going to bridge that gap. My concern is that one thing is that for curbing inflation, for checking the fiscal deficit, correcting the fiscal deficit, increasing the capital gain and all, for this, or increasing the capital of the country, okay, all this shouldn't be done from the pocket of a middle class person, or from the people who are salaried or who are earning a fixed amount of salary per month. Okay, whatever changes have been done in the income tax slabs, and whatever they have done, like they are saying that indexation has been removed and that will be beneficial. Whatever they have done through to the long-term capital gains, short-term capital gains, many things where they have changed. All this is not going to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, and even the middle class and the rich. And it's going to widen the gap between the poor and the middle class, and middle class and the rich. Okay, now we say that we should be becoming self-reliant in manufacturing. We should be becoming our economy should be growing by increasing the exports. We should be growing in the manufacturing sector, in the infrastructure sector. Okay, we say that, but we don't implement. We should be learning from China. Okay, we consider China as a rival. We consider that China is like aggressive country, but I would say their aggressive approach in the growth prospects is appropriate. A country has to be aggressive. The country cannot grow without aggressive policies on their economy, on the manufacturing sector and infrastructure growth sector. Until and unless you don't you can say provide momentum to the manufacturing area, to various latest areas which should be growing, like I can say that EV sector. Now China has imposed, has actually put many subsidies in the EV sector. They are promoting EV so much that the whole country is going to go green. Okay, EV will be running on the roads, and they are doing whatever they can do to enhance the manufacturing of batteries, the EV cars, and letting people buy EVs by subsidizing it, by providing various facilities. So they are following a robust approach. That is why their economy is going to grow in a robust manner. They have the same tax GDP ratio as similar to India, but still their growth is much than compared to India. We cannot just believe on fiction. We cannot procrastinate that yes, we are growing because our GDP is this. Don't see that percentage, don't see that number. See that inflation is also affecting the GDP. Okay, so I don't agree with all this. All the policies are actually not in favor of middle class. indexation removal and all, it's very, very bad. We are going to earn less on our property, on our gains, and they say that this is not property tax, this is nothing like that, it's the benefit of the middle class, everything like that, blah blah. But this is actually exploitation. Another thing, the country always follows policies which are bureaucratic and capitalist and business friendly. Okay, like democracy is also bureaucratic democracy, and I would say a capitalist democracy. Society is bureaucratic society, capitalistic society. Economy is bureaucratic, capitalistic. Everything is becoming bureaucratic. Even the justice system is also becoming bureaucratic. Everywhere you can see bureaucracy and corruption seeping. Okay, so I would say, my dear, you can say the education, this government and the finance ministry, that you have done a hard work in putting up the budget. It's a lot of hard work in, you can say, refining the various sectors and then calculating where can the budget should be allocated more and all. That's a very difficult task. But the thing is, one should have this in mind, that we as a country, we are growing, we are not developed, we are in a developing stage, and we have more of middle class and poor people here, we have more of farmers here. Okay, and we have gone through various problems related to farmers, also various problems related to salaried people. We don't have much government employment, we don't have much government jobs, so the income tax payers are very less. Government is going to earn through this increase in capital gain, removal of indexation, and all these things. So why always it's to empty the pockets of salaried people earning a fixed amount of salary, and they have a limited amount of resources. So why to complete, or you can say bridge this gap of their deficit from our pockets? I would not say much about this budget, but I would say, please learn from China, be aggressive. If you say that we are growing robustly, our GDP is increasing, then just let it reflect in the various sectors that yes, we are growing robust way, and we are actually using the aggressive kind of growth, you can say, mediums in various sectors. Okay, various allocations are done in yojanas and various kinds of policies for women empowerment, for job creation, for skill development, for internships and all. Everything is on paper. When this allocation occurs, these policies are not implemented up to the mark. That allocation actually reaches, the benefit of that allocation actually reaches to those who actually need it. So this is a very, very big problem in India. If we are not going to remove this bureaucratic and corrupt approach, this country will never grow as a democratic country. We will be always at the mercy of these kind of unfair policies. With that note, I say bye. Thank you.